I, 18, have a complicated relationship with my parents. As I've gotten older, it's gotten worse. Recently I received a sum of money from my deceased grandpa, about 125k, all for college. When I was told I inherited it, I was excited that I would be able to afford my dream school. When I tried to get the money transferred to my college savings, I encountered a problem. My mother. She has this idea that since I was the oldest, I would have to pay her back everything, including all of the medical crap I went through before I was even 4. So, that would be a lot. I went to ask her to transfer the money into my college savings account, but she refused, claiming that it was rightfully hers because of all that she has done for me. To say I was mad was an understatement. All through my life she would go into my room and steal whatever cash I had and even destroy the safe my grandfather had bought me. Any sort of money that I had won from different sporting competitions, she would cash it in for herself. So, I waited a few days to talk to her again, but used my time wisely. When I was 13 I had decided to start keeping a notebook of all of the money I had earned. She doesn't do any of this to my siblings, only to me. Well, when I added everything up and included the 125k from my grandpa, it was about 250k that I had recorded. That's a lot of money for an 18-year-old to imagine, but I saw everything as purely college savings. 3 days ago, I went to her with my notebook, records of all transactions she made through my account, and went through everything with her. At first she was confused, but when I said the magical grand total, she went nuts. She started yelling that all of that was hers, since she had spent more than that on my medical bills. I tried to stay calm, but I've had enough of her dumb excuses. So, I told her that she doesn't do any of this to my siblings, which she only said that it was my job as the oldest to pay her. I've seen enough of situations like this, so I had copied everything into a file on my laptop. When she took my notebook and papers to destroy, I just added on what the notebook, folder, and papers had cost to the total. 2 days ago I sent her an email, laying out that I either wanted everything that she had stolen from me, not worrying about interest, because that's too complicated right now, or I would be going the legal route, suing her for more than what she has stolen from me, which included all of my therapy. Not the idiot. You need to consult with an attorney as soon as possible. I fear the longer you wait to get an attorney involved, the more difficult it may be for you to recover the funds. Plus, you need an attorney to review the inheritance documents, including how the money was transferred, how it was supposed to be set up, was it supposed to be in a trust, was to be in a separate account, etc. I'm not sure that you will be entitled to recover the 125k funds you earned as a minor, but you certainly have a claim as to the inheritance from your grandfather. Bottom line, you need to have an attorney review all the information and discuss your available options. Good luck, OP. You did not decide to be born. You did not make the decision to come into this world with any kind of issues. Your mother chose to have kept you and raise you. You owe her nothing for that, and what she is doing by holding money you legally inherited over your head is illegal. You are not the idiot, in fact you are being very responsible for being an 18-year-old. You should absolutely pursue legal action against her, however I doubt you'll get any money back for what she may have taken while you were under the age of 18. And lastly, I am so very sorry that your mother is behaving like that, because that is not how a mother should behave. You are not at fault for her inability to understand what real parenting is. She has a warped sense of motherhood. Providing shelter, food, and clothing is the bare minimum. Since your country doesn't provide it, I guess medical care would be on that list too. She does not get a prize or reimbursement for any of it. It's the obligation she accepted when she chose to become a parent. Keep all your important documents and ID with someone you trust, and get a lawyer. My wife has a complicated relationship with her dad, to say the least. She grew up in a single-parent household in an extremely rough neighborhood. Her dad always tried their best to provide for her and her brothers. He is currently serving a life sentence. Despite this, she still has fond memories of her dad. Every year around her birthday, she receives a letter from her dad. She's never opened one of them, but she does keep them. I don't know the reason why, and I frankly don't care. It's her dad, with whom she has formed a deep emotional connection. These letters are kept in a marked box somewhere in our closet. My mum hates the fact that my wife is from a poorer, rougher neighborhood. She's made insensitive comments in the past surrounding my wife's upbringing, everything from insinuating my wife is a gold digger to calling my wife's brother one of them. When my mum discovered that my wife's father is in jail, her comments only got worse. I didn't speak to my mum for years because of her behavior. This past year, my mum seems to have had a change of heart, of sorts, and has been rather supportive. She reached out and apologized for her past actions and has actually shown that she's changed. Her apology doesn't necessarily make up for the years of comments towards my wife, and I don't think our relationship will ever fully restore, but I do appreciate her genuine support and effort. A few days ago, my mum showed up at our door, completely unannounced. I wasn't home at the time, but my wife didn't seem to have a problem with her presence and offered her a cup of tea. It's good to mention that our house is a bit of a mess, right, because we are in the process of moving out. Somehow and some way, my mum found the box containing the letters from her father. She opened one, then got mad at my wife for talking to a dirty criminal. Keep in mind that my wife has never opened these letters and has no clue what they say inside. When I come home, I find my mum ripping up the letters while yelling at my wife. My wife is silent, so I step in to try and calm my mum down. To get my mum to listen to me, I end up yelling at my mum to shut up. It takes her almost an hour to calm down and leave. The next day, I get a call from my family members, calling my wife a terrible person and that my mum did the right thing by ripping them up. My brother tells me I had no right to yell at my mum like that and that I should apologize to her. My wife thinks I should apologize and is starting to believe that maybe my mum was right. Oh dear, I could write 5 paragraphs breaking down every screwed up behavior you describe here, but it would be pointless. The moment she opened a sealed letter addressed to another person, your mother became the idiot in a way that's impossible to defend or justify. The rest is just bad crap behavior meant to protect her from consequences and shift the blame on you too. And of course, she drags your brother into this. I'm not surprised at all. Not the idiot. I'm at a loss. How dare she open anything, make comments, and destroy property? Does she realizing it's a crime to open someone else's mail? I'm horrified that your wife carries so much shame for her childhood that she would think she deserves this. Has she had any counseling? I would never speak to your mom, and I would add your brother to the mix if he supports her wanton abuse. Not the idiot. You did well to stand up for your wife. Your mom obviously hasn't changed that much if this is her reaction to years worth of sealed letters. As in, unopened, as in, not in communication. Any logical person could figure that out, but your mom didn't because she was actively looking for trouble. Not the idiot, and your wife could use some support to build up her confidence. She didn't deserve that, and the fact that she thinks you should apologize tells me she's internalized all those horrible things your mom has said over the years. Go low contact or no contact and don't look back. About 2 weeks ago, my boyfriend and I planned a trip to the city for 2 days. We had been planning this for the past 3 months. I was the one who booked the hotel, bought tickets and reservations for restaurants. We had already spoken to our parents for permission, so it was all well. My boyfriend has his own car and I do not. We were going to use his car to go down to the city, but it needed to be fixed up a little bit. So both me and him split up costs to fix up the things we needed to so that the car would run well enough to get from our town to the city and back. 2 weeks before our trip the car is doing great and is ready to roll. That week, we told our parents, again, what date and where we were staying. Everything all fine both sides or so I thought. Last week, I was speaking to my boyfriend about the trip and told him about what things I had planned for the two of us and we were both equally excited. Until he spoke to his mother. Apparently she had forgotten that we were going for a trip and since the car that my boyfriend drives actually belongs to his mother she told that we were not allowed to go to the city anymore. Because of this, I had to cancel all our reservations. A lot of them had no cancellation fees, but the hotel did. I had to pay $300 for canceling our room. It may not be much to some but for me, some who doesn't earn a lot and saves like crazy, is a lot. Now neither of our families are rich. But for some reason, when I brought up the fact that I lost money, my boyfriend told me that it wasn't like I couldn't earn it back in a couple weeks' time, and if I was upset then he could just pay me the money. I was pretty upset about that. I told him that all I want is an apology from his mother, and even if I did want money it would be from him, but from her. He told his mother what I said, and she started to cry saying that she didn't have money to give me and that what about all the things I paid for her. The thing is, she's only ever spent money on me if I gave her money. So I don't know where that was coming from, but I don't know, I feel bad. Am I the idiot? I didn't think me asking for an apology would be this much. Not the idiot. You paid all, even your boyfriend's part. His parents even know about this since you and your boyfriend split the costs to fix your boyfriend mother's car. So, you are not only $300 out of pocket but also half the cost to fix her car. Because of this, the forgotten you are going on a trip sounds fishy to me. Looks like she does not want you to use her car even if you paid for it to get fixed. I don't know how old you are, still living with parents, but you might want to look at your relationship now because the whole money part replies of your boyfriend and boyfriend's mother are not really promising for a good relationship later on. His mom never should have let you out money into her car. She took advantage and waited until the last second to say no to this trip so there would be less time to fight about this. This was absolutely a calculated move. So, to be honest, I think you should ask for that money back as well as your $300. You told all of the parents involved about this trip way in advance, and she screwed you over. You have every right to be mad and to tell her why. As 18-year-olds who have graduated, you are legally adults, and you shouldn't let this lady manipulate you. She was aware of the trip and gave permission. Then she yanked the rug out from under you without warning because it was her car and she knew that you would respect her wishes and not use the car without express permission. Now that you know that she is a major idiot, never ever plan something that would in any way, shape or form rely on her for even the most minute detail. In fact, she lost the right to even be notified that you will be doing something because she will figure out a way to mess that up. Today has been rough. I have an 11-month-old and a 10-year-old. I work from home, which means constant interruptions, which I do my best to work around. My partner is currently unemployed because of COVID and is genuinely doing his utmost to help, but baby is breast and clingy, which means I generally end up working with her on the breast. My mother lives a few blocks away and will get someone to let her into our secure complex and then bang violently on the front door. I hate it. It wakes the baby and scares the crap out of me. I've spoken to her about not coming over uninvited, which she has totally ignored. The reason she comes over so often? Coffee. No joke. My partner was a barista in uni and makes the best coffee in the universe. She waltzes in, asks for coffee and then leaves afterwards. Just stays long enough to disrupt everything. Usually we let it go. My mother is a lot. But today was a very bad day. I had a lump in my breast tested a while back and I found out today that I have cancer. So I'm sitting on the couch, breastfeeding, crying and trying to finish my shift while my partner is simultaneously trying to comfort me and leave to go pick up our oldest from school when my mother attacks the door. As he opens it to tell her it's not a good time, she basically pushes her way in and says she has a headache because she hasn't had any decent coffee. I yelled at her. Like really yelled as loud as I could. Just get out over and over. She called me a dramatic little idiot and left. She is now sending me texts about how selfish and uppity I am. I don't feel like an idiot, but according to my aunt and mother I am. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. First, holy crap, my deepest sympathies. I couldn't begin to imagine finding out I had breast cancer as I'm literally breastfeeding my baby. Okay, wow, there's literally no way you're in the wrong in this situation, even in the slightest. Your mother has no right to invade your home and demand you cater her. Respect is a two-way street, you need to remind her of that. Just because she gave birth to you does not mean she can do whatever she likes, especially when it begins harming people. First, I am so incredibly sorry that you have been diagnosed with cancer. I can't even imagine what you are going through with this diagnosis. Second, you were very clearly going through something, and yet your mother decided to barge in regardless. Your partner said that it wasn't a good time and that she needed to come back another time. Yet she decided to come in anyway. I don't know where you live, but where I live, that is trespassing, and you can press charges. Your mother is not only disrespectful, but somehow doesn't know how to read the bloody room. Instead of asking if things were okay, she barged in moaning about her need for coffee and expected to be catered to. No matter how you flip it, regardless of what is going on, she is the idiot, and her actions afterwards makes her the ultimate idiot. Go low contact or even no contact with her and concentrate on your health, which matters most, not your poor excuse for a mother. Good luck, OP. My parents are divorced, and I split my time equally between parents until 2 years ago, when I decided to just spend the time at my dad's and be less at my mom's. My reasons were largely to do with it being less crowded at my dad's. It's just me, him and his wife. At my mom's it's her husband, his 4 kids and his 2 nieces who all live with him full time. It bothered my mom because she thought I would love having a big family. But no offense to her, it never felt like a real family. They were her family, sure, because she married her husband, but I never felt like that marriage made us all anything. They were just random people. I never found anything in common with any of them, and I never felt love for them, except my mom. It was easier being there less. There was less pressure to hang out with them, and it didn't annoy me as much having so many other kids around. The problem is because they have so many kids at their house and they don't have that much money. Things are tight. My dad got me a new console a couple of months ago for my 16th birthday, and my mom knows about it. She asked me to bring it over some of the weekends so we could all play and they could experience some of the stuff they miss out on. I told her I wasn't going to do that. It's been a fight between us since that, because she is disappointed I don't want to share more of the privileges I get with my siblings. She doesn't know I don't think of them as my siblings. She thinks I see them as typical annoying younger siblings. But I really don't think about them all that much. I just don't want to bring stuff to that house from my dad's. I have my stuff there and my stuff at her place, though not really anymore. The other night my mom sent me a text that she's disappointed I don't want to do more to have fun with the others. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Sounds like you are an incredibly mature and insightful 16-year-old. Unfortunately, I can see the console thing going from bring it over every now and then to leave it here for a week to it getting broken, not because those kids are bad, just 6 kids sharing a console sounds dire. You might discuss it with your dad. See if he can help you out. He may be willing to play the bad guy and say it stays at his house. I don't know your parents' relationship. Keep enjoying your space, tell your stepmom you appreciate her. Your mom chose this family, well, it was forced on you. She gets a new love in her life, you get 4 random strangers wanting to borrow your stuff. I get that this must be hard. Good on you for not openly being hostile toward your new siblings. Not the idiot for not wanting to share your belongings. You clearly are making efforts, but there are limits to what should be expected of you. If they break it, will they replace it? Of course not, money is tight. Keep it at your dad's, safer this way. It's 100% yours anyway. I imagine this is how it would pan out. She insists you travel with the console and share with your siblings. You bring it over. She tells you to let the other kids play with it instead of you because you get it all to yourself at your dad's house. After a while of you taking it back and forth, she'll say traveling with such an expensive toy is dangerous, it might break, so you should leave it behind. She'll say you have other things at your dad's. She'll ask if you only go to see him to play games. You're not the idiot for not wanting to take your console over. Honestly, just moving it from place to place seems unnecessarily risky.